right, so it's been about 6 months since I've been able to actually do this. I've had some health issues I've been dealing with and some family issues, and I'm relatively new in the job I'm in. So priorities, I guess. So I apologize because I get alerts all the time from people that have subscribed to the podcast, who follow the podcast, all of that. And I feel like I've let you down over the last 6 months. I'm back. And I couldn't think of a better guest to have join me to open it back up in the basement than Buffalo's own Billy Fichtner. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm going to be doing a lot better on the 8th when I see a W, when I go to sleep and there's a W in my eye.
Well, listen, I'm going to ask about all of that with you as we progress. I mean, Bills obviously are top of mind for everybody. And there's a lot of questions around the team. So I want to ask you some Bills. I want to ask you some Sabres. I have a personal question for you that comes from someone that lives in my neighborhood, believe it or not, who's a fan of the podcast, who, well, you'll find out has a relationship with you that you hopefully remember. But I want to start off with this, my friend.
That doesn't sound good.
So my wife and I, we struggle, we watch stuff all the time, and we'll come to the end of a show, right? And we struggle to figure out, well, what's next, right? And unless somebody has told us, you got to try this. If you watch this, no, try it. You got to watch it. Yada, yada, yada. You hear it all the time. My question for you is, back in the day, it was the movie theater and 3 networks. And now, between cable, satellite, and apps, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of options. Like, do you feel at this point in your career at all like the work that you work so hard on, that you so much love, can get lost at this point?
You mean the things that I've already done?
And the things that you're going to have coming out, right?
How do I say this? It's, the world, the entertainment world, like the rest of the world, is rapidly changing so fast. And I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole of AI and all of what that is, but things are changing so fast that, I kind of choose not to keep up with it, because I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. You're right. It was ABC, CBS, NBC. And if you grew up in Buffalo, you got it a little blurry, but you got Hockey Night in Canada too.
Right on.
Or UHF, or you go to the movie theater or something. But, in this day and age with, I don't know, I read somewhere recently, what is it? 350, 400 channels of original programming. I don't know how you keep up with it. I don't know how you get an opportunity to watch it all. It's really up to my wife that says to me, we're going to watch this series. And I'm like, yes, darling. And I got to tell you, 9 out of 10 times, she plays one episode of something and this is good. Play another one. There's so much good stuff out there that I don't really put it in the world of my own life and my own work as an actor. I guess I'm really dating myself. I feel like I'm so old school that to me, it's all about still, even if something comes along, like I'm going to take on this new project that I'm going to go to England for, a few months for. And, I look at that thing and I don't worry about where it's going to be placed in the world or how it's going to be seen. I think about the part. I think about, what can I do with this role? What is my piece of this puzzle? And how do I make this as good as it can possibly be? Because that's the only thing that's ever really mattered to me anyway. The rest of it, there are people that are smarter to follow it all. I just want to be good. I know that sounds simple, but it's always what it's always been about. Listen, when I graduated with my criminal justice degree and took a bus from downtown Buffalo to Port Authority in New York City to go study, I only cared about one thing. I was so intimidated about everybody that was ever been in theater as a kid, knew so much more than me. All I really wanted to do was to be good and to try to be good. And I still think the best is yet to come, because I'm a student of it. But I know that's a long-winded answer to your question, but it is hard to follow it all. So you know what? I don't follow it all. I can tell you this much: on West Coast time at 10 a.m. most Sundays, my darling wife was like, aren't you going to watch the game with me? And I'm like, no, I go in my man cave. I got to be alone. So when I freak out, nobody can see me be a maniac.
Have you
There you
seen
go.
what's the most recent thing that you watched that you really, really enjoyed, that if you can remember?
Um,
Because again, I need ideas.
well, last year was that series, The Last of Us, that I thought was really riveting. I mean, there's so many. It's shame on me. I feel like I watch one of these once a week. And then if it's good, we just rip through it.
Right.
Um, it'll come to me. But,
Have you
I
seen?
mean, I can't believe how much I watch, and I'm like, but then again, listen, my wife is a huge tennis fan, and every time there's a major, which the U.S. Open just started yesterday, I wake up to tennis, I go to sleep to tennis. I'm like, we're gonna watch that show again, honey, and she's like, no, we're watching tennis. So there you go.
Hey,
We're a sports
as long as
household.
Jesse Pagula's on, who cares?
I know.
Right?
Listen, and she played really well today.
Yeah, sure did.
So good
Sure
for
did.
her.
Yeah. Um, have you watched The Bear?
Well, there you go. All right, The Bear. Yeah, I did that entire second or third season in like a day and a half.
Has
Yeah,
anyone ever
loved
told
it.
you that the star of that show reminds them of a young you?
You know, I've been hearing this now for like 3 or 4 or 5 years since The Bear originally came out, and it wasn't until about a year ago that I don't know where I was, but I was flipping around and I saw a picture of Jeremy Allen White, the lead guy in
Yeah.
The Bear, who is just awesome in the show. And I saw a photo of him, and I don't listen. I look at my kids, and people go, "Oh my God, your older son looks just like you." You don't see it. I looked at a photo of him, and I thought, I get it. I get it. I feel like I've seen photos when I was younger that look just like him. I look like I could be his. I get it.
Are you as good of a Hollywood cook as he is?
Listen, I boiled water last week. I burnt it. I burnt water. You can't do that, Bull. It's not. No, listen. Hey, I got a grill upstairs on my patio. I know how to work that grill. I can't do anything else. I do not. You give me something to throw on that grill. I got it.
Fair enough.
That's it.
Fair enough. I got to ask you, you've worked with Affleck a bunch of times.
Twice.
Were you guys friendly enough where like back, I think the first time you worked with him was like right around maybe just before Brady and they got good. And I was just wondering if like there was a time when he would like razz you like, Buffalo sucks and the Patriots are great and Boston, and he would just be a masshole to you. And then in the last few years, because I know you worked with him recently, you got a chance to get back at him a little bit.
Listen. With all those Super Bowls, we didn't get back at him yet. Believe me.
Yeah.
But we shot Armageddon in '98, so that's pre Brady, and
Pre-Brady.
that's pre Super Bowls and everything like that. Listen, and then when I worked on him in Hypnotic like 3 years ago this fall, we never really talked about it. But that's the way it is sometimes on sets. I'm there to concentrate and do things. It's funny. It's like after a career of 50 some movies and a bunch of television things and plays, you work with a lot of people, and I'm grateful for all those experiences. But the bottom line is, there's only so many hours in the day, and you can't end up being like super close with everybody.
Right.
You enjoy the experience. Now, take Black Hawk Down in 2001. I met Kim Coates. I met my best buddy at 44 years old, Eric Bana, and the three of us. I knew when we were in Morocco shooting that for 5.5 months that we would be in touch forever, and we are. It just goes that way sometimes. Now, if you're going to be close to me now and you're not a Bills fan, I'm not that close to you. Okay, it doesn't go that way. I'm not one of those people. It's like, come on over my house and root for whoever you want. Oh, no. You want to watch the Bills with me or my wife upstairs? You root for the Bills. You don't root for the Bills? No. You're not around me. I don't want to be around you. Ha!
Speaking of Bills, okay, now to this personal story. So there's a guy in my neighborhood. His name's Bill. So and like I said, he watches the podcast. So I was speaking with him, I think last spring, a few months ago. He's like, when are you getting Fichtner back on? When are you getting Fichtner back on? I went to school with him at Maryvale. And back then he was Billy. And we were on the same gymnastics team. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
Billy gymnastics? Do you remember a guy named Bill on your gymnastics team? Just say yes, just in case.
was his last name Watch out?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so he said you did gymnastics. I'm like, what? Like, what gymnastics did you do?
That I do
Yeah.
personally?
Yes.
I did the high bar.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I remember him. I got to tell you, that was back in the day. Remember this too. I graduated in '74. I was just home in late July for my 50th reunion,
Whoa.
which I didn't want to miss. And we had an amazing turnout. I mean, almost a third of my class, and that was 600 kids because we were the height of the baby boom. 600 kids. But you got to remember too, when you had it, Maryvale High School at the time, the entire high school 9 through 12 was like 2,400 kids. Today, Maryvale High School is about 700, the entire school. Same town, but the difference of the baby boom and now. But back then, it seemed like we had every sport. There were so many kids to play them. I don't even think Maryvale has a gymnastics team anymore. But I will tell you this much, and I pulled out my yearbook before I went to the 50th reunion, and I flipped through it. Now, we all had our friend groups, and there were the stoners and the jocks and the this and the that. But I looked through that yearbook now, and I may not have a recollection of something that we did or hung out, but there's not a face out of 600 kids that I don't at least recognize, and especially the gymnastics team. That was kind of a cool, special little groove.
So how close are you, having done gymnastics? I mean, Olympics were just on. Was that something you paid attention to?
I pay attention to the Olympics like nobody's business. I mean, and I think my wife's that way too. Come winter or summer games, I'm glued. I literally don't even make plans. Especially when track and field is on, gymnastics is on, USA basketball is on, swimming is on.
You did not watch breakdancing.
I don't even remember when they put it on TV.
Oh, that's true.
I did not. No, and I watch it all the time. I don't remember when they actually aired that.
They may not have. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. I do know that it's not going to be here in LA in 28 for whatever reason.
Is that exciting to you? Is that something you want to go witness in person?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's coming to LA. Yeah, my wife keeps saying to me, NBC has the coverage for the next Olympics. She told me this the other day. You need to get a job on NBC. I'm like, honey, I'm not going to take a job based on you getting tickets to swimming. Well, I say that now, Bo. Watch, I'll be on NBC in 4 years.
It's awesome. I hope that happens, and we'll just pull this episode back up again and
Exactly.
air it again.
Exactly.
So that's really cool. Speaking of neighbors, now we'll flip to the Bills. How about the Lancaster kid Andreessen making the Bills? What do you think?
I swear to you. So my younger son, who was born in New York City, raised in California, is a bigger Bills fan than I am, and I will freely admit that. And he's been talking to me throughout the preseason, especially that Pittsburgh game. He called me after. He goes, "Did you see any of it?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I was doing something." And he goes, and he starts talking about this kid Joe, and then he sent me an article on it, and he gave me a little backstory and everything. But he's, and my son he's pretty smart with this stuff. And he said, "Dad, I'm telling you, he is the real deal, and he's exciting, and he's fearless, and I can't wait." And you know what? Listen, the biggest heartbreak this year. I mean, sure, we lost a lot of veteran people. Come on, we're not the only team that goes through this sort of thing, and you got to do this for cap space and all of this. But having Matt Milano injure his bicep is I just nothing made me go oh because we missed him for most of last year. and we did okay. But can you imagine if we had him? And I don't know when Matt's going to come back this year. I believe he'll come back before the end of the season. But people I talk to, I'm not sure if it's a partial tear, full tear, this, that. I don't know, but it's not easy to overcome it. And if there's a little bit of silver lining, not that it makes up for Matt Milano, that's for sure, because I think Matt is top 2 in the league at his position. And I'm just saying that because I think he's number 1, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt to someone else. I think Matt's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a stud.
To have the excitement around this kid and that he made that roster, bring it on.
Yeah.
What happens every year, there's somebody that's undrafted comes up and they're a star. And I think we got one.
I'll tell you what, if he can end up being our Brock Purdy, I'll take that all day.
Yep. Bring it on.
So, Billy Fichtner, one word that's been describing the Bills this year, and it was kind of added on to because of Milano's injury, but because of the guys you mentioned that were gone, Diggs, Poyer, Hyde, Trey White, no one really knows what Vaughn's going to be, right? A lot of turnover. A word that's been used a lot about the Bills is transition. Like, this is a transition year. Do you buy that?
I think you have to buy it. I really do. Now, is it going to be, the word transition usually equates to, well, they're going through some stuff, so they're not going to be as good as they always were. That's usually what you associate a team that's in transition. Now, I'm not so sure that that's going to be the Bills' season, but are we a team in transition? Yes. Could we be the best transitional team people have seen in a long time? Yes, we could be, but it's hard not to think that that's an applicable word to where the Bills are at these days. I do think this, and I've said this a million times. I had an argument the other day with a couple of guys that came over here that were Steelers fans. Well, this and this and this. And I looked at them and I said, let me ask you something. Who would you rather have start for the Steelers in week 1? Do you want Russell Wilson? Do you want Fields? Or would you like Josh Allen? Well, that was the end of that conversation. Let's put it that way. We're a team that has Josh Allen. And when you have Josh Allen, you have a shot. You have a shot.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many players you could say that in the league. And I really mean that. He's one of those kind of players. Did we see a lot of them in the preseason? No. Apparently, before that Pittsburgh game, it started raining, and they're like, no, you're not going in. Got it. Why? Listen, we're going to have a transition in the first half of the Arizona game because these guys are going to be out there and, hello, here we are. Full crowd, full stadium. Let's go. I'm the eternal Bills fan. I deep down believe that a lot of the changes. Am I going to miss people like Hyde and Poyer? I mean, talk about a couple of classy guys. I mean, you don't get much classier than them. Are we going to miss them? Yeah, we're going to miss them because they're great guys. But every team goes through this, and they get to a certain point in their life, were they as strong as they were 4 years ago, 3 years ago? So we've got to adapt to that. The coaches say it all the time. What are you going to do? Sean McDermott said it. Matt Milano's down. Someone's going to step to the plate.
Next man up.
That's pro football. And there's guys that want to be that guy. But I just don't count out the Bills. And I don't think you can.
No, you can't.
I don't care what you say. I will tell you this much. I do want to say this, talking about our beloved Buffalo Bills. I am so tired of the NFL writers in this league that I swear they spend more time in this offseason building up to this season ranking Josh Allen on well, is he really that? He's not this. Remember last year we lost that Jets game in the opening? I forget who it was. If I saw his face on television, seeing him the next day on TV going, Josh Allen is a travesty. He's a travesty. He's a travesty. What are you, out of your mind? You wish you had a career like him. If you had a career at all. Let me tell you something. You could say what you want about Josh up and down. My feeling is this. I'm going to say it out loud. 13 seconds. That's not players. Something else went wrong there. But that's not players. That's not the playing personnel on that team. That was a year to win the Super Bowl. Didn't happen. It's okay. There'll be another one. But I got to tell you, do we have the goods, the backbone of a team that can win it all? Why not? Why not? We got Josh Allen. I really believe that.
Have you ever been cast as a coach? Because that was a pretty good pep talk.
Well, when I was working on Mom, Nick Bakay, Buffalo guy.
No, Nick. Yep.
Yeah, brilliant writer, showrunner, actor. Nick is great. Nick wrote an episode on Mom where the character of Adam Janikowski opens up a restaurant, a bar, and he has a, what do you call it? He wrote a scene in there where I'm giving my crew before we open a pep talk, and it was Lou Saban's speech, his famous speech, but he literally morphed it into me talking
right.
to him. Are we gonna fight? We're gonna fight. Oh, I'm ready to give a pep talk, but my pep talk's gonna be in parking lot 1.
Yeah, buddy. So yeah, do you have plans? Like, what game you coming in for? You have any idea?
I'm gonna be there at the home opener.
Okay, awesome. And I assume
I'm gonna go with my wife and my younger boy. We're gonna come up from New York. We're at a family wedding. Let's put it this way. Well, I'm not even taking the chance to take a 8:30, 9 a.m. flight out of Newark, which is the closest airport to Will I Be. I will not take the chance that flight's delayed, because a lot of times the smaller flights they delay that flight. I missed the game.
That's right.
No. I rented a big Suburban or Tahoe or something to make my wife comfortable. And I said, darling, at 3:30 in the morning, I'm waking you up and I'm putting you in the car. There'll be a pillow, a blanket. You could sleep the whole way, but I'm driving to that parking lot.
Road trip.
I'm going to be late. So I will be there.
That's fantastic. That is so good. And you always wear the same t-shirt, right?
I wear my light blue. I got my blue thing with the red buffalo on it. Yep. It's kind of my thing. Yes, I there's no doubt I will have that on and I will be ready to go.
I'm assuming you'll be at the Rams game.
Actually, with this overseas thing, I may not not be here in LA for that. I was just trading emails today with a guy that I graduated high school with, who lives in Arizona now. He's going to be at the game. A bunch of people are going, and I wrote him and said, doesn't look like I'm going to make it, but who knows? If things change, I'll be there. For
sure. Just a quick Sabres ask. What do you think about Lindy back?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Because I think that, I read something the other day, like our top 6 defensemen, it's like Darlene's like the oldest.
Right. Yeah.
And what is he, 23, 24? So, we have this, all of these draft choices we got, Owen Power and Dylan Cousins and these guys. And, you tack that on with Tage Thompson. We got players. And rumor has it that, the coach that we've had for the last couple of years is great at developing these guys. But, and I'm saying this is just from what I've read, not my personal opinion, but I do like Lindy, and I like his experience, and I like him coming back here because he's been through it, and he can look at these guys, and I think he can give them something that they need right now. And I think it's awesome. Yeah, I really do. I think it's awesome. I also love the fact that I think he's an excellent coach, but he's coming back to the place that he played at, and it just, it has deep meaning for him as much as the team and the fans. For sure. So we know about this English project. Anything else you want to tell us about, or you can tell us about? No, that's it. It's just, after last year with the writer's strike and actors strike and it seems like the whole world just, is certainly in show business, it's just kind of like, it's just kind of refining its footing right now. So let's put it this way, there's only so many times you can clean out the garage. You know what I'm saying? Well, I got to go to work to relax. Right. I hear that. So it's happy hour out that way. I've never found this out from you, and maybe you don't have one, but do you have an adult beverage of choice? Uh, yeah, as a matter of fact, I got several dozen.
You wouldn't be from Buffalo if you didn't.
On the weekends when friends come over and it's been hot here in LA and we got the pool here and it's a pretty big one and all our friends like to hop in. I mean, my wife can make a spicy margarita that is just so good. I love a great Pilsner and I'll never turn down a fine shot of tequila.
Attaboy. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, listen, man. If you feel like it, say hello to anyone. You're on obviously in Buffalo and globally. So if there's anyone in particular you want to say hello to, go right ahead.
Well, I just want to take a minute and say, hey, it's great to talk to you again, and I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, and it won't be the last this season. But I also want to say, to all the fans in Buffalo, the sport fans, we are second to none, and I really mean that. I can't tell you how many times I've said to people, "Hey, man, we got the greatest, we could tailgate," and I'm like, stop right there. No, no, no. I've been to other stadiums around this country. I've been to big stadiums. I've been to Dallas and LA and New York. And you don't tailgate like Buffalo. It's a culture here. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's wonderful. And I don't care if you're from another team. Just don't come in here squawking like you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what? Buffalo fans are very respectful. Unless you open your mouth. And then we're going to go, no, no, no. But otherwise, come on. Have a good time. But listen. I want to say to all the fans in Buffalo, I love you guys, and I love how much you all care about our team. I love when I'm home and I drive people around, and every other house has like a Bills or a Sabres thing on it. And I look at it and I'm like, that's my hometown. These are my people. I can't wait to see you all at the stadium. And one last thing is I want to say to the Buffalo Bills and the entire organization, I've met a few of them, but I don't really know you guys. But I'm telling you, I so believe in you, and I can't wait to watch you all in person this year as much as I can. I don't care if I'm in England. I'll set that alarm or let it be late at night. It don't matter. I won't miss it. Have a great season, Buffalo Sabres. Have a great season, Buffalo Bills. And fans, let's go get it.
We'll see you at the opener, my friend. Thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it.
See you later. You take care.
Man. You too, man. Thanks.
All right, bro.
See ya.